Hello, I'm Tom Miles. I'm a professional photographer based here in London, and today I want to take you behind the scenes on a recent photo shoot I did for Men's Fitness magazine. It's in the current August 2014 issue. I've been working for these guys for nearly 13 years now on a huge range of shoots, everything from studio fitness like today's job through to portraits of Olympians, through to survival stories, outdoor adventures. Wonderful range of stuff, very, very good fun to work with them. The thinking behind this particular shoot is to move their fitness features a bit more upmarket, get more creative with them and give them more impact in the magazine. This particular feature is all about fitness tests and diagnosis. So what we were thinking was a very cool, very clinical look, and we fell in love with the idea of using fluorescent tubes as part of the actual image. Now, living in London, I don't own my own studio. They're very, very expensive. I rent them as needed. So today we're shooting in the Lemonade factory in Battersea, which is a wonderful place to work in. I've been renting it since 1998, in fact. I go to the studio these days very heavyweight. I take a great deal of my own gear. I prefer it that way because I know what I've got then. My stuff is reliable. I know where spares are kept and how everything works rather than renting stuff and being uncertain of things. The drawback is, of course, it means there's an awful lot to pack. Before we get into the shoot, I want to take a quick moment just to take you through some of the crew I'm working with. First up is Jake, my assistant. Jake has many jobs, some of them very technical, like working with lights and computers, and some of them very basic, like loading and unloading the car. Next up is Ben and Matt, journalists from Men's Fitness magazine. They're here to make sure we get the exercise stuff right and to do a Chuckle Brothers impersonation whilst putting together the fitness equipment. Then we have Jay, our gorgeous model. His job is to look handsome and fit and make the reader want to go out and get fitter. And last but by no means least is Rob, the art editor. He's essentially my boss and he's here to make sure I get the picture right. So the procedure for the shoot is that we need to shoot step-by-step stuff of each exercise first on a white background for cutout. Then we're going to choose the best looking stage of each exercise and shoot Jay in amongst the flow tubes at a certain position in the exercise. These fluorescent tubes are rented. They come from Unique Lighting, who are next door to Lemonade Factory. I don't own things like flow tubes because they're a bit esoteric. If I did, I'd probably break them by playing lightsabers with them. This brings me to the main technical challenge of the day. The model is primarily lit with flash, as it's the gear I own and we need to be able to freeze motion on some shots. However, fluorescent tubes don't put out anything like as much power as flash tubes do, even when the flash turned way, way down. So to be sure that they have some effect on the model and they show up on camera on the background, we need to use a slow shutter speed. To help this along a bit, we're shooting in the box studio at the Lemonade Factory, which has blacked out walls. We've got the modelling lights and the flashes turned off and all the house lights off too to accentuate the power of the flow tubes themselves. Now, slow shutter speed is fine for static shots like the end position of this rower here, but for more dynamic images like this broad jump, 1/5 of a second will just make Jay very, very blurred. The easiest option, of course, is to shoot two shots. One frame at the maximum sync speed of 1/250th of a second with the flash to freeze Jay's movement, and then an empty or a plate shot of the background at 1/5 of a second to get enough glow from the fluorescent tubes. Then composite the two shots together in Photoshop. To make this run a little smoother, I've locked the camera off on a tripod and I'm shooting tethered straight into my computer so we can check stuff properly as we go along. The remainder of the Photoshop work consists of some very simple cleanup work to extend backgrounds and tidy the ends of the flow tubes, a little bit of treatment to give the image a bit of mood, and a dab of final sharpening, and there we go.